So today's video is on AI, and specifically the use of AI by inventors to draft their own patent applications and to try to find out if their invention may be patentable. So what I did is I typed in the same query to five different AI programs, and the query was, draw a picture of a dog surfing a wave in Hawaii being towed by a shark that the dog has caught with a fishing pole. Now I'm going to show you the various drawings that the different AI programs came up with and explain why it's probably not a really good idea for inventors to be using AI, at least prior to having a patent application filed. Okay, so let's start with the images that were created by the AI. So you see here, all the AI agrees that we have a dog. The dog has a fishing pole that it is controlling in different manners. It is riding on a surfboard. The surfboards are rather interesting, to say the least. And the manner by which the dog has caught the shark is also very, very different. So the first thing that I want you to get from this is that you can use an AI tool, but AI is probably going to give you very different results depending on each one. So let's go over each one individually. We've got ChatGPT, which created this image of a dog surfing. Looks like the Nepali coast of Kauai. Before I became a patent attorney, I had an international kayak tour company, and we did a lot of trips here. Nepali coast, wonderful place, but normally the waves don't break out to sea. Okay, so now we've got Copilot. Copilot's got the dog kind of hugging in a tube here. A very, very interesting fishing pole, to say the least. We've got our grand winner is Gemini here. This has the fewest problems. Again, it's a dog wearing a Hawaiian shirt showing he's in Hawaii. We've got palm trees along the beach. It's caught a shark. It's surfing a wave. This one looks pretty good to me. Last but not least, we've got Grok. Okay, so the dog has a fishing pole. It's apparently caught a shark. The fishing pole, or the surfboard, is quite a unique shape, but we'll go over that a little bit in the future. So the second point here is, in addition to AI giving you different responses, AI is often wrong. So let's start with Grok. Okay, the Grok surfboard doesn't seem to have any wax. Now, anyone who surfed will realize that you need you need a some way that you're going to stay attached to your board. And so with this particular surfboard, if it doesn't have any wax or like a deck pad, you're going to slide right off. So that's the first problem. The second problem is, if you do slide off, or even worse, fall backwards, you've got the surfboard fin sticking up on the wrong side of the surfboard. So this poor dog, if he wipes out, he falls backward, he's gonna slice himself open on the fin, which is, bleeding in the water around a shark is not a very good idea. Next, we've got the fishing pole. This is a really unique fishing pole. First of all, I don't see how the fishing pole is attached to the dog, but the fishing pole has a line coming out the bottom, and it has two lines coming out the top, one of which just kind of disappears into the wave, the other of which is attached to an eyelet in the shark's head. Now, I was not aware that sharks came with eyelets in their head. If they do, this would be really cool, because maybe we could make a deal with the sharks where they could all line up along the beach, and after you rode a wave in, you could just hook your board with like a carabiner into the eyelet of the shark, have the shark tow you out to sea. Maybe we could work out a deal where we buy him a bunch of steaks and feed him the steaks at the end of a day. But anyway, this Grok picture has some, to put it diplomatically, some pretty serious problems. Let's go to ChatGPT. Okay, so one more thing about Grok. The dog's standing with all 4 feet on the board, so probably is fairly stable. Turning to ChatGPT. Again, I don't see a lot of wax on this board. The dog is positioned very well. ChatGPT figured out that the dog should be leaning back against the pole of the fishing line. Now, if we look at the fishing line from the tip of the fishing pole, it seems to magically go from monofilament to like a 1/4 inch manila rope. and then it's kind of hooked around the shark's head with a harness. Again, maybe we could incorporate that into the grok picture, and all sharks come with a harness, so the shark can just tow us back out to the lineup every time we wipe out on a wave or take a wave into the beach. This is a pretty good picture in a lot of ways, but one of the worst parts is look at the direction the wave is breaking. The wave is breaking out to sea. Now, waves break toward the beach. That's why you end up on the beach if you lose your surfboard or if you ride a wave all the way in. Waves generally don't break out to sea. I don't know if this dog is planning on surfing to Japan or not, but if so, he should have some water and some food along. Okay, so those are the problems with grok. Let's look at Copilot here. Copilot, again, we've got a cool dog with a Hawaiian shirt. We've got, looks like a part of Kauai in the background. So it's very obviously a picture taken in Hawaii. Surfboard definitely doesn't have any wax on here. And the dog is standing, leaning forward, which means if the shark pulls forward, the dog's going to take a header right into the nose of the board. We've got one of the most unique fishing poles I've ever seen here. We've got one line going into the wave. We've got something that looks like a telescoping gaff coming out the bottom of the fishing pole that appears to be attached to a line that magically just goes into the shark. So I don't really see how this one's going to work. And good luck to the dog staying on this surfboard. If the shark moves at all, that dog's going to go flying. I can guarantee you that. All right, last but not least, we've got Gemini. And this is, to me, the winner. I can't see if the board has wax on it, but the dog has a pretty good stance. The dog's holding the fishing pole in its mouth. So that, at least shows me how the dog is holding the pole. And the line goes into the shark's mouth. Now, there is a line coming, it looks like, out of the shark's mouth too, but we can forgive that considering that every other part of this picture is really good. So anyway, Gemini, in my mind, is the winner of this whole thing. So the first point is AI would give you a bunch of different advice. Second thing, AI is often wrong. I mean, they call it artificial intelligence. I've seen some patent applications that were given me by inventors where the artificial intelligence was not very intelligent. It made all sorts of mistakes. And so, you can't just take an AI-generated patent application and say, oh, sure, dude, yeah, let's just file it and see what happens. Okay, that's not going to work. Last but not least, the last I checked, GPT didn't go to law school. And Grok doesn't try to put down Gemini by saying, oh, I went to Harvard. What law school did you go to? These aren't lawyers. So you don't have attorney-client privilege with them, which means that anything that you put into ChatGPT or any of these other AI programs can be discovered later on. And this would happen if your patent is either challenged for invalidity or if maybe you're suing somebody for patent infringement. Basically, you don't want these pictures to come up, particularly if you made these queries more than a year before you filed your patent application. Read up on 35 U.S.C. 102, which says that you have 1 year from when you first publicly disclose your invention until you have to have a patent application filed on your invention. Otherwise, your own public disclosure can be used against you. Now, we're having AI in the patent world is new. We're having all sorts of case law come through in various states and various federal districts, so nobody really knows what's going on yet. And again, 5 years from now, AI is going to be a fantastic tool. But right now, I see a whole lot of dangers here. And there's one case in particular that I have to warn you about. It's called United States versus Hepner. It's in the Southern District of New York. And this case held that Claude is not an attorney. And so an inventor's written exchanges with Claude were not protected by privilege or work product. And the court's reasoning is as follows. The communications were not attorney-client communications because Claude was not the client's lawyer. The communications were not confidential because the defendant in this case, Mr. Hepner, he used a public version of Claude, and that the materials were not prepared at the direction of Hepner's lawyer, and they did not reflect Hepner's counsel's strategy at the time they were created. Now, the court goes worse. This gets worse because the court also stated that a client can create a non-privileged document through AI, but it can't later convert that into a privileged document covered by attorney-client privilege simply by sending it to their attorney. So it's kind of like once the cow is let out of the barn, you can't give the cow to an attorney and have the attorney try to push the cow back into the barn. Cow's out of the barn. It's going to stay out of the barn. Now, this case got even worse with some comments on it, which said that uploading trade secrets to a public AI like Claude or Gemini or ChatGPT may waive your trade secrets. And again, I've got other videos on trade secrets, but suffice to say, at this point in time, as of this day, I highly, highly recommend that clients do not start messing with having AI help draft their patent applications or even give them advice on whether something is patentable. And I will update this video when there's something new. And in the meantime, make sure your dogs have wax on their surfboards when they're trying to catch sharks. They're not going to stay on the surfboard without it. And unless these sharks are really nice sharks, they may eat the dog. So thanks for listening. Bye-bye.